friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Well, I've got to redo yet another video that had to be removed from the YouTube platform because of a certain substance that was mentioned in the original video. So though I won't be talking about it in the video, if you're watching this on Rumble, I'll be linking to another video about that substance right at the top of the description box, so you'll know what was originally in the list. And also know that I already have this list typed up and published over on Patreon for free for anyone, and I'll be putting that link also in the description box, so you don't have to write all of this stuff down. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read off the list of some natural antibiotics, and I know this is still not, even though I was able to add more to this list since my original video, I know there's probably still many more that could be added to this list. The purpose of these kind of videos, which I'll be linking to the full playlist of lists that I do like this for various things such as pain, antivirals, and more. The purpose of this is just to give you guys a starting point, whether it be something you might want to look into growing or stocking up on. Also finding what's going to work best for you and for your family, because this is all going to vary per person depending on their individual needs, allergy issues, gut issues, and more. So that's why I like to pull together lists that are somewhat extensive, at least, to give people more to choose from. And no, there's not just one herb out there that's right for everyone. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and read off this list and to talk about a few things. And after I'm done reading the list, I'm going to go ahead and cover a few of the things that we most commonly do. Right at the top of the list, I have nasturtium leaves. Now, I believe the whole plant, the roots, the stem, the seeds, most definitely, because they're so spicy, are going to be great antibiotics. But the leaves are what I commonly use in this case because I save the flowers and seeds for other things. Also garlic, onion, especially the hottest onions you can find. Coconut oil, that's going to be most, even though that of course can be used internally, that's especially good for external, topical infections or ear infections in particular. Oregano, rosemary, horseradish, cinnamon, ginger, juniper, which I have some juniper berries right here. I bought these because our juniper doesn't get berries like these, and I love the taste of the berries. I use them in teas. And then I also have usni on the list right here. Gather this from my own property right down the road. And then cinnamon is another good one. I keep a lot of Ceylon cinnamon sticks and ground cinnamon stocked up. I just brought a few things in. Some more things would be sage, eucalyptus, golden seal, cloves. And by the way, clove oil in particular is good for tooth infections. And the great thing about that is not only does it help kill off the infection, it'll also numb the pain as you're dealing with that infection. Turmeric, lemongrass, thyme, capsaicin, so any kind of hot pepper, in other words, that's high in capsaicin. So if it's hot, it's got capsaicin in it. Calendula, grapefruit seed extract, myrrh, and here's one, I hope I pronounce it right, it's a new one to me, andrographis. So I'll put a picture right here, and you may want to look that up because I don't know anything about it other than it was one of the ones I found when I went to looking again to see what else I could add to my list here. Raw honey, of course. Anything high in vitamin C, so a lot of your citrus fruits, even those citrus peels, even if you dry the peels and then use them in tea, you're still going to get some vitamin C out of it. But as you cook that tea, though you'll lose some of the vitamin C, you'll also pull out the quercetin. And licorice root. So a few more things right there. So now let me talk a bit about what we do most commonly. So one of the things I always have on hand is a nasturtium leaf extract that I make with dried nasturtium leaves, nasturtiums that we grow ourselves. And nasturtium leaves, as far as finding them to purchase, are incredibly difficult to find. So if you're able to grow them, typically they're pretty easy to grow, but they don't like really hot, dry climates too well. They sometimes will just bolt and then you don't get much out of them. But they grow best for us here in our very wet climate when I grow them in large pots and or areas that don't get an extreme amount of the hottest sun during the summertime. But anyway, I make an extract out of that. I have an old video that I did that I'll link to down below where I show me making that extract in two forms, one using homemade wine, one using glycerin for if you're wanting to make an alcohol-free one. You can also make it with homemade vinegar and have it be alcohol-free, or make it as an oxymil, which would be a 50-50 blend of raw honey and vinegar. And then I do make a lot of teas, especially in the wintertime anyway, using a lot of the spices and herbs that I've mentioned, such as the usnea, the berries, the cinnamon, the cloves, the ginger. And one of my personal favorite things, or two of my personal favorite things now, are the rosemary extract, where in the summertime when my rosemary is really putting out a lot of green, I will cut that back and stuff it into a jar, and then I'll pour a mixture of homemade wine, a 50-50 blend, and raw honey over that. So I mix those two together really well, pour it over that, let it set for several months. The longer it sits, the better it is. That's one of those that is best if you let it sit for a long period of time. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And I just used up the last of the first one I made, and a couple, 2-3 years ago. And I just left the rosemary in there, and it was so strong, but it was really good. I felt that rosemary just really opening up my nasal passages this last time that I had a cold and needed that. And then my other favorite thing is my honey infused garlic. You can just make it garlic infused and honey if that's all you want to do. But I'll link to the video I did where I share a lot of the options. One of my favorite things now to add to that is my own homegrown horseradish that I've dehydrated, and I put that in there. Horseradish being one of those natural antivirals, antibiotics, is really great, and it does help open up the nasal passages. So especially if you have a sinus infection, that's going to be a really good option. So the honey infused garlic with the horseradish in it. But I do tend to also add a lot of spices such as ground cinnamon, ground ginger, and ground cloves to it as well. And sometimes some red pepper flakes, whatever I feel like adding to it at the time. And the honey infused garlic, the way I make it, does tend to be similar to a fire cider, except for it's made with honey instead of vinegar. But a fire cider, same idea. You got your hot peppers, you got your hot onions, you've got your horseradish, you've got your garlic, and then whatever else you want to add. Some people will add slices of citrus in there, and then they'll pour an apple cider vinegar over that, and then let it sit for at least a couple of weeks and let all that stuff infuse in there. But you can also make your own homemade vinegar. And if I ever make another batch of fire cider, I keep saying I'm going to, it's been years since I made my last batch, I would use my own homemade vinegar, and I'd use whichever one I had ready to go that was the most antiviral, antibacterial. So maybe one made out of rosemary or sage or oregano, or maybe all of the above, or anything else. So yes, you can make vinegars out of just about anything, any fresh or dried herb, vegetable, or fruit you can do this with. And you can even just use scraps. So all my apple vinegar is made simply out of scraps after peeling and coring apples. Those all go into the jar, and I make my vinegar. So I'll link to my most recent, most thorough vinegar making video down below. If you've never tried making your own vinegar, it's so simple. And then the other thing is this. We only take this unmentionable product here when, we really need it. Like we've been around people who have been really sick, or we're coming down with something. And I'm talking about getting sick, but really you'll find that antibacterials and antivirals, they all go hand in hand. Most of them will be the same. They'll go both ways. And that's what's great about them. So even though I'm talking about antibiotics here, same thing. If we got some kind of infection, we might take this, but we only take it at that time, or make the teas, or make the elderberry syrup. And I have a recipe on that too that I'll link to down below, because a lot of the things in the elderberry syrup are antibiotic as well as antiviral. So any thoughts, ideas you would like to share? What are your favorite things to use to take, or how to make it? If you make tinctures or if you make teas or whatever it is you make, and what do you use in those when you need to kill off an infection, please share with us in comments down below. However, just know if you happen to mention the thing that is in this bottle that is not allowed on the YouTube platform, I will have to remove your comment. But remember, you can always go over to my Rumble channel and look at this video there, or at least look in the description box there to find what it is I'm referring to right there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And also don't forget to check out the other links I'll be putting in the description box down below. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.